All right. Well, there's some things we definitely wanted to talk about. We were lighting up the group chat the last few days with a lot of stuff that's happened. Okay, Lawrence, thank you for tuning in, sir. We found out that you are the Facebook user. Thank you. Appreciate that. Big Thor, probably sitting in his living room just listening to us. Very nice. Thank you. Johnny D. Yeah, Johnny, we started the show. Where have you been? Come on, Grandpa, get in the game. Yeah, we know Big Larry. We know who you are. We know who you are, Lawrence. Thank you very much for tuning
Yeah.
in.
Well, we
Johnny, you
know who
was
Lawrence
we
is
know
in
who Lawrence is. Sorry,
Chicago,
yes.
but
The Chicago people do. Anthony, this is a gentleman who's about 6 foot, I don't know, 4, long blonde hair. Like we call him Thor. It's a good nickname for him. It's
Thor
yeah.
and Wade Garrett from Roadhouse because he
Oh
lives
yeah,
in
Garrett for me. Sam, he does
he,
resemble Sam Elliott a little bit with the way
he
that he looks.
does.
So it's yeah. So it's
He
Garrett from
does.
Roadhouse or
He's
whatever you want to
also
call him. Big Larry.
been
Thank you.
he's also been a tour guy, which is even funnier.
Yeah, it is very true. Yes, that is true. He is, which is how I met him. So there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
I met him
Yeah.
too.
So he puts the face on. All right, Lawrence, we got you, buddy. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, something interesting happened. I think it was yesterday, right, or today, whatever it was. Zach Ertz has signed with the Detroit Lions, which I was a little shocked. I thought Sam Laporta was doing a fine job, but Lions decided to bring in Zach Ertz, and I'm going to go to Tina because Tina, being our legal person and our definite expert on the rules of the NFL, Tina, I was a little confused because I didn't think you could do this sort of thing, but can you clear this up for us?
From what I can see in the rules, it's not against it. They can bring anybody in at any time. He has to start on the practice squad. And so essentially it's kind of like what they did with Flacco when he came into Cleveland. They put him on the practice squad, then they have to raise him up and then let someone go or move them down to the pass because it still has to be 53 men on the field. Now, what I did find out is because it is in the postseason, so when you come in on the practice squad, you can be elevated to the active list 2 times, 2 games.
Okay.
So he may stay on the practice squad and he'll just get elevated up for the game.
Gotcha. Okay,
so
that's how that works.
It is something that can be done, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay, it's kind of the analogy I have in my mind is if you've ever played fantasy football and the administrator didn't set it so you make the playoffs and everybody else's people that didn't make the playoffs, all of their team players get to go in the pool, and all of a sudden you're pulling out players and okay, now I can win. This is kind of how it feels to me. Now I get it. I get the Lions. They're hurt. Laporta is the only tight end they have. Well, they have 2. They don't trust the other one. There's a big difference. So it's not against the rules. They can do it. I mean, they wouldn't have splashed it all over social media if the NFL was going to be like, I mean, I dug through that thing. I know more about practice squads and who is a registered and unregistered free agent and all that.
Right.
It's got to be in here somewhere, but it's nowhere in there. So I just think it's a little bit of an unfair advantage. But he didn't have a contract with any other squad. He was
a free agent.
He has to be let go. He's a free agent. So this might be one that I think maybe the NFL next year might be like.
Well, Delilah, what do you think? What do you think of this? I mean, Zach Ertz all of a sudden, again, sitting on his couch going, "Hey, Lions gave me a call. Let's play some football, folks."
I'm not hating on him. I liked him when he was on Arizona. So I always thought he was a big part of their whatever offense they had, which wasn't much.
Yeah, sure.
But
Plus also part of the Eagles.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Well,
he would get big plays. He was at home with his wife. These are both championship. This is a championship couple. She has a few, Olympic gold medals.
Right.
A FIFA World Cup wins. He's got a Super Bowl. So he was just chilling with his wife. And they were like, hey, listen, so we have a shot at another Super Bowl, and our tight end is hurt. So makes sense. Why not take the chance?
No, I mean, right. I get it. I get why it happened. Absolutely. But Handy, that was going to be my next point, kind of. He's a guy with, playoff and Super Bowl experience. He's a guy who's won one. He's got a ring with the Eagles. How does this play in
Really
for
good.
Zach Ertz? How does this work out here, Anthony?
I don't know, because the games still have to be played, but I definitely think it makes for a great addition. 10, 15 years ago, I would have said he's been sitting around for a couple of years. He might have a little dust on the to quote a country song that I hear quite a bit, dust on the bottle. But these new guys, this generation of guys are just coming off the shelf, ready to go. Look at what Flacco did up until he flaccoed.
Right.
He flaccoed. Right in the end, he flaccoed. We know.
Yeah, well,
right?
he was apparently he was flaccoed, and then he flaccoed in the last game. So,
Right, exactly.
But I think this could be a good. I think this could be a win-win for all parties involved. And all he had to do was, I'm pretty sure he just picked up the phone and go, "Hey, Jules, you won't guess who called me? I got a shot at getting a kicker on my pension if I win another ring. What do you think?" Like, hell yeah, I need a sunroom on that new house.
Exactly.
There you go. Why not?
Don't they get kickers to their NFL pension if they win Super Bowls? I know they get a kicker if they make the Hall, but don't they get additional monies to the pension if they win Super Bowls? Or am I?
That I'm not sure of.
All players, there is an incentive schedule and there is a postseason pricing. Again, I dug through the CBA trying to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
Yeah.
So every player that hits the NFL, if they hit the Super Bowl, if they hit the playoffs, if they hit Pro Bowl, if they hit certain MVPs, all of those, they get additional money out of the postseason. They call it a postseason pool. And my thing is I don't have a problem. It's not the problem with Dallas, with Detroit, or with Ernst doing what he can. My problem is it's the postseason, guys. This is not during the season where you have 18 games.
Right.
And I get it. He was brought in to be a backup just in case something happened.
Right. Sure.
But would we be saying this thing if someone in the playoffs had their quarterback get injured and all of a sudden people brought in Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers if he was out there?
Right.
So to me, fine. It's been the way ever since. The thing is, if you clear waivers, you get to play. I don't like it in the postseason. That's my point.
I got you.
At this point,
fair
we're
enough.
down to 4.
Yeah.
It should be just the 4. I kind of talked with Nick about this. What this reminds me of is when Coach McDaniels got fired from the Denver Broncos.
Right.
He ended up being a consultant for the Patriots and was up in their booth during the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's an unfair advantage. That's the only thing I see with it, is being an unfair advantage.
No, that's a fair. It's a fair point. We'll see.
I know I'm in the minority on this one, but I just don't agree with it. So.
We won't be talking about it again unless Zach Ertz catches a game-winning touchdown in the game this weekend, and then everybody will go, "Oh my God, you see what?" Right. So we definitely will be paying attention to that. We'll talk about that game later on. Let us move on now to a team that, apparently has this dark cloud over their head, because as we all saw this weekend, there was an eerie deja vu feeling I had watching the end of that game. Just a different guy cast in the same role as Cursed, as we all saw Tyler Bass miss a field goal wide right, kind of the same way Scott Norwood did on January 27th, 1991 in Super Bowl 25, when tasked with winning the game and winning the first Super Bowl for Buffalo. Scott Norwood kicked it wide right, giving the Giants the 20-19 victory. Now, we all know that led to Buffalo losing 4 Super Bowls at that time, in that late 80s, early 90s, or that 90s window. And now they've lost, 3 times to the Chiefs in the past few years? Mm-hmm. Guys, is Buffalo cursed? Is there just never is Buffalo never going to get over the hump here? Like, what in the world is happening? I'm just going to throw this out to everyone, because I do want to hear from all of you guys. Like, what is going on there? Is it what is happening?
They're not cursed. They only had 4 linemen that could dress to come into the game. Okay, you can't do a pass rush with that. Secondly, their kicker was injured. They talked about that. So you're
Yes, they
sitting
did.
there. The fact that that team was able to keep the Chiefs to 24 points with those issues coming in, it's not the kicker's fault. They're not cursed. They need to make changes. They need to look at what they've been doing. Like, okay, and not make somebody a scapegoat, which we'll go into another thing I know we're going to talk about. They're not cursed. Come on, guys. Fans like curses because then that makes sense to them, because then it's why isn't management doing A, B, or C? Like, is it the right head coach? Well, how many times has this coach taken them to the playoffs in the last 5 years and they've not been able to either they make it to the big game and don't make it to the championship and don't make the Super Bowl, or they get to this point and they lose. I thought that game was phenomenal. I thought the Bills were doing really, really good at controlling the Chiefs with all of the problems they had.
I agree with that, Lawrence. That was my
Stephon Diggs.
And Stephon Diggs not getting that ball.
Stephon Diggs had that ball hit him right in the breadbasket, and he watched it roll in the breadbasket, roll out of the breadbasket, and then he made that same dumb face. I could see it through his face mask. That same dumb face he made on Celebrity Family Feud when he made that joke. He thought it was so funny.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Wow, I wish we had that clip now, because that was hilarious. I remember that.
That was funny.
But see, that was the thing too. Like, I saw a stat, which was they showed like the first half, and then like the fourth quarter, he had like 0 catches, and like he just totally didn't show up. It seemed like Stephon Diggs was just not a factor at all, really, in this game. And it's that's your number one guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the guy you rely on most. Like you said, watching that play, you go, oh my God, it hit him right in the hands. How do you think about Stephon Diggs is going to catch that? How do you drop that? Like, it hit him right in the midst and just fell to the ground. Just incredible. I mean,
he is in a tough conference. I agree. Honestly, we always talk about it, that the AFC is like insane.
Put him in the hands of Stone Club and Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Who was ruled out for Sunday's game, so we didn't play anyway. So we didn't have to worry about. We had another Stone Hands and Stephon Diggs. So there you go. He became the new Stone Hands for that weekekend.
Well, Tony's out now. So.
He's out now though, permanently, right? Yeah.
I've said this before. I think I said this at some point during. I said this, and this was on the college show. You have 4 15-minute quarters. In order, and at which point you have all available opportunity, the same available opportunity as the team you're playing, to do everything you can to win the game. If you have not done everything you can to win the game, i.e., wide receivers that are asking for a bunch of money that can't catch footballs, even if you hit them in the face with it and it's doused and sticking. Even if it's your entire offense just decides that's it, we played enough football to win, and doesn't show up in the fourth quarter, whatever it is, it does not come down to that one play. It's not Tyler Bass's fault. I mean, Tyler Bass came out and had the whole world on his back. The team was playing the way the team was playing. It was score for score, and I think what had happened when hadn't Kansas City fumbled the ball out of the end zone, and Buffalo got the ball, but that was that. At that point, that was where they had the opportunity to drive down the field and take the lead, and they didn't, and they couldn't do it. So it's like, please miss me with the. I mean, we like to, Tina, you're right. We like to use curses. I mean, Boston, their Sox were cursed forever until 04
Cubs, 108 years,
Cubs, the GOAT,
the
GOAT,
right. So. I mean, the
Lions didn't Jeff Daniels and whatever, like Peyton Manning, do a ritual for making jokes,
right?
Exactly.
Right. So it's like we like, because those things make more sense to us. We can take it and compartmentalize it. But what it comes down to is, for yet another year, when given the opportunity to execute, the only time that the Bills had a legitimate excuse for losing to the Chiefs was the year they did not get the ball back in overtime.
And overtime, right.
But this
which prompted a rule change.
Right.
So yeah.
This game right here, Buffalo fans, I'm sorry. Y'all are some of the craziest, funniest fans in the world to watch, but zero excuses. You had opportunities. There's a whole bunch of other people y'all can holler at, instead of Tyler Bass, and leave that man alone, because y'all don't know who he rolled with in these here streets. He might have folks in the streets. I'm just saying. So anyway,
Yeah,
that's
no,
all I got.
and then,
I agree.
yeah,
I agree, honestly. Like I said at this show, I told you guys, don't give Kermit the ball. It's my. I'm like, do not give him any time. He spins out of stuff, and even when he messed up one play, he comes back like nothing. Like he's like whatever, and they didn't pressure him. You know that they talked about that too.
yeah.
The Buffalo Bills defense. If you pressure Mahomes, you can beat him because they've proven it before. If you pressure
Can't
Mahomes,
do it with only 4 linebackers.
But I mean,
like,
there is this. Yeah.
you
That's the fact of the matter. That's the reason
you-
why they didn't pass
yeah.
rush.
You
That's
need
why
to-
they blitzed.
You
Is
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You have to
Do
put pressure
something.
on him. You
Yeah.
got to
Pick him
disrupt
up.
him.
Because
Exactly.
if you don't,
And
if
that's
you
why I'm
don't-
saying, that's why I said the fact that they kept him to 24 points in that game
Yeah.
when
yeah.
they were so decimated at linebacker and their defense wasn't at full strength. I give him
Yeah.
a lot of props for that part of it.
Yeah, but he was
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, don't.
No,
You're right. But the thing is, he didn't. But the thing too is he passed more than Josh Allen, which tells me.
But he had the worst game of his season.
I still like 184. This is Josh Allen is a 4 touchdown, right? Like he would get 4 touchdowns a game, at least 3 to 4, over 200 yards. He had 85 yards and 1 touchdown, and all of them were like really short passes, which to me tells me they really played conservatively, in my opinion, with his passing game.
Oh,
Because they probably were like Mr. Turnover, Josh Allen, and I think that's what they did, and I think that hurt them in the end. I think they really should have gone for some of those, like, some more passing.
And the
in my
one
opinion.
that the Chiefs couldn't hold back was the guy that they got involved late. And I'm trying to like Google his name.
I agree.
Their tight end, not Knox, not him, but the other one that they got involved late. The Bills did. Like, if they've been able to get him the ball sooner.
Dalton Kincaid.
Oh yeah, the young kid, the rookie. Yeah,
Dalton Kincaid.
Yep.
In that second half was lights out. And
yeah, he was. He was great. He was
they
great.
needed to get him involved a little faster. But
See, every time they went for the big play, though, they didn't seem to convert it, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I get what you're saying, right? They may have played a little, except Kincaid, right?
Yeah.
It was, and then to the point. No, go ahead, Tina. Finish your thought. No, it's okay. Like I said, that's why we're here. We talk. We talk. We have our fun, but we do talk sports here. We can do that. I promise you. We have knowledge. We are here for a reason. But to get into our next,
Delilah, is that it looked like the Bills were playing so conservative in the second half of the game. Where in the first half, it looked like they were willing to give Josh a little bit of leash. Okay, you can make this run. Okay, you can try this. And in the second half, they just kind of kiboshed it because, again, they don't want him throwing interceptions. They don't want him doing this. And they got lucky with that fumble in the end zone. So
they really did, because if they had scored there, they'd be up 2 scores, and that game probably would have been out of reach at that point. But to piggyback off of all that happened, as we all know how the game pretty much ended, is that Tyler Bass did miss that field goal. And man, if they didn't, this poor guy literally had to deactivate all of his social media accounts because he was getting death threats and all this stuff. And it's like, oh man. Yeah, no, it is criminal what's happening, about 100%. And again, we've seen this because I was there live. We all know I was there live when not even that, when the Steve, and I know it's baseball, but when the Steve Bartman thing happened here in Chicago in 2003, that poor guy suffered. I mean, and it was just a fan. I get it that Tyler Bass was a player, but I mean, the fact that fans can get that fanatical where you go after someone personally, where they were putting this guy's address on the radio, he received death threat. He had to move. He moved to Florida. Just to get away from it, he had to. They were threatening. He lived with his parents, and they were threatening his parents. Like, this is ridiculous. And this is what we're, unruly fans. Are they ruining the game for everyone else, guys?
Yes.
I'm going to throw this out there. Andy, go ahead. You said yes. I heard your yes. Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and say yes. When you pay for a ticket to see a football game, or you sit down in front of television to watch any type of sporting competition, that the money you spend this is what it entitles you to. admission to the game. You're guaranteed to get in as long as you don't get yourself in any trouble. You don't get thrown out. It does not guarantee you to make any. It does not give you any rights to make any decisions regarding the players, the staff of either team, the staff of the facility. Whether or not you like the cologne the person you're sitting next to you is wearing. It does not matter. It doesn't give you the right to do things like take snowballs and throw them. I mean, I know throwing snowballs at the opposing team because they won and get on the phone, and that's a if I pick up the phone right now and call Tina over Facebook, because I don't think I have any of you guys' numbers. If I call Tina over Facebook and say I'm coming to get you, give her the Brian Mills speech, I will look for you. I will find you. You know, and she gives me the good luck, and I go looking for her. That's a criminal offense,
right?
Yeah, it is true.
They're going to show up at Zagnam Central, and then you just see the screen go dark with the sign that said, "Dude, please stand by." That's it.
Yeah.
So why are these people getting a pass?
Because they're public. They're taking advantage of the fact that players and celebrities and all those guys are public figures. And they're on social media.
It doesn't matter.
So,
it doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters.
I agree.
I think it should be more. Like in those cases, more should. But
the logic behind that,
warriors.
Yeah, the logic behind that is the same crap. I almost used one of your favorite words, Tina. Is the same crap that got y'all. Any of y'all remember Rebecca Schaefer?
Of course.
From My Sister
Sam.
Yeah,
from My Sister Sam. Absolutely. That was horrible. Yeah, absolutely.
For those of you that are a little too young or not in the loop, Rebecca Schaefer was a young actress on a TV show called My Sister Sam, and she had a guy that stalked her, and he got mad because she did a love scene with a dude in some movie. He got her address from the DMV. And they did at least pass a law. It was because of this they passed a law that people who were public figures' information could not be given out.
Right.
And he got her information from the DMV. He showed up on her doorstep, and did he shoot her, stab her, something? And then
he killed her. Like that's the bottom line.
Whatever he did,
killed her.
He took this young girl's life.
Yeah.
And because he was a fan and he was entitled to. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's the same damn thing because. Some of these folks, if they could have got a hold of Tyler Bass before he could have got out of the stadium,
right? No, you're right. It's scary. I think they take things too far because, again, I say that as someone who is a big fan, and like I said, I remember the double doink with Parkey. Was I upset because my team lost? Yes. Did I laugh at some of the memes? Yes, of course. But did I go and harass this man like other people did? Because he was harassed too.
Yeah, he was.
Did I stalk him? Did I? No, because I'm not insane. Like I realized, you know what? At the end of the day, as much as I love my team, they're human beings.
Yeah.
And they lost as a team. They lost as a team. They could have won that in a multitude of other ways. And they left it up to a field goal. You know, same thing with Bass. It's like. They lost as a team. This man deleted all of his social media presence. It's not the first time we've seen it with Geekdom. They're the same way.
Yeah.
Star Wars fans, like all these, they go insane and threaten actors so much. You know that the actor that played Jar Jar Binks almost killed himself?
Yeah.
Because of because of the harassment. He felt, and so it's like, same thing, these athletes, they're human beings, guys. I know we see them as Goliaths because they're massive, they're huge, and, you know, a lot of them have really great social media presence, and I get it. But, man, they're human beings. And I agree with Anthony. Is like, you know, if you threaten anybody else, they will be knocking on your door. But I know the law, too, so they're public figures, free speech, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know. But the fact that he had to activate everything, that he probably had to tell his family, like, delete that you even know me, that you're, you know, his friends, he's probably telling his friends, like, unfriend me, delete any connection because they're going to find me through you or they're going to harass me.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
So,
isn't that crazy?
Like, that's insane. And then, the snowballs, I know it's just snowballs, but you're such haters, guys. In general, I like the jumping on tables that the Bills fans do because that's fun. You guys were having shots of beer with Jason Kelce.
Yeah, Jason Kelce.
That's fun. But this stuff, like, seriously, guys.
You want to hurt yourself? Knock yourself out.
Right, exactly. That's not you.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. No, and it really, like, it puts such a stain on the game and such a stain on professional sports in general where people just can't separate that. at the end of the day, it's a game. Like we're all gonna go. Everybody's gonna go home. Everybody's gonna go to do their. And this guy has a family, I'm sure. And it's just,
Right.
it's very sad. It really is because, again, at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's a game we love, but it's just a game.